Well, Iran and the U.S. officially have completely different versions of how this war is going. The U.S. trade war with Canada is getting very ugly very quickly. A university dean is in a lot of hot water for allegedly filming up skirts. We have another look at what these robots are up to, and they're making cookies out of plastic now. Cookies out of plastic. We have so much to tell you on this Thursday, August 27th. Thank you so much for joining us for Hot 97 News. The news is newsin'. I am your host, Lana Harris, and there is, again, so much to dive into. So we're going to start off with actually an update on that avalanche flood in Nepal. Something I actually thought I would never say in my entire life. Didn't know an avalanche flood was a thing until what just happened. So the update is obviously devastating because that's the only way this thing goes from here. Yesterday, we told you that 160 people were confirmed dead. Today, they know that there's at least 362 people who've been confirmed dead, and more than 1,000 people are still missing.
Yeah, that number is just going to go up.
Yeah. And these are new videos that we found as more angles are surfacing from all of this. And
it just ripped through that dam like nothing.
These people didn't have a lick of a chance. So the missing count reportedly includes hundreds of foreign tourists and pilgrims from more than 30 different countries. Imagine you were just on a vacation or just traveling, you know? And so the United States, as far as we go, says that 90 Americans are still unaccounted for. 3 have been rescued. No American deaths are confirmed, which is good at this point. But again, you know, with so many people missing, that number could go up. Hopefully not. But now there's a new emergency upstream. They say that debris from the original glacier collapse just created another rapidly rising lake. And now the officials there are afraid that that blockage is just going to unleash a second major flood round 2. So it can't be any worse. And in fact, we can show you a rendering. Somebody basically drew up how this thing happened. So it's a digital version, but they're saying that, yeah, that avalanche that they still don't know how it happened just ran all the way down this mountain and just tore through all of the homes and the villages that were there. So they're finding bodies. They're finding all types of stuff at this point downstream. This video actually caught a near miss, and this is incredible to watch because it looks like these people are pretty much screwed from every angle you look at it. But these guys, I don't know, they were just covered. This is evidence that when it's not your time to go.
Oh, I was holding my breath for this.
Because this guy in the blue, look at my guy in the blue.
Yep. Oh, no.
He looks like he's done for.
Oof.
And he's fine.
Because you know
when you fall, that's always what happens to you in your nightmares. And in the movies, you fall and then it's gone. But yeah. I mean, my God, thank God that guy's okay. But, you know, the videos we showed you yesterday also show exactly what happened and how little time these guys had. Another survivor said, you know, he tried to pull his wife onto the roof as the mud was rising and she didn't make it. You know, there's thousands of soldiers and police officers searching out there at this point, but the bridges were destroyed as well. So they got 25 miles of roadway that's missing at this point. Helicopters are the only practical way they can really go and find people. So, I mean,
I saw really bad videos that I couldn't post on the show because they were pulling bodies out of the river. Yeah, and they weren't even whole pieces of the body. Yeah, it was like parts.
So they're saying that they believe they've ruled out this whole earthquake explanation. Remember, there was a magnitude 4.4 earthquake that they thought might have been what caused the glacier to collapse. Now they're saying they don't think that was it. They actually saw satellite images that suggest a large amount of snow disappeared from the glacier about 24 hours before it collapsed. So they say it basically melted very unusually fast. Still don't know why. Isn't that interesting?
Interesting.
I looked at who might benefit from something like this because obviously this is just horrific. And it didn't have a clear answer. Like it wasn't like, you know.
Why are you going all conspiracy on this?
Well, because when something like this happens, that's just beyond a freak of nature incident. I mean, what is this? What is this?
I did hear
Obviously,
some theories
people start to think about, and I did, you know, I looked and what were your theories? What did you see?
I saw that the U.S. did this because this is on the border of China, and China was talking a lot about how they're not going to stop dealing with Iran, and you know that's our main focus right now. You know,
yeah, but Nepal's the one who got. I mean, that's
It was just stupid internet.
Yeah, the
chatter,
internet's coming out, and obviously there's no confirmed evidence for any of the stuff that you're gonna see these theorists kind of come up with on the internet. But when something like this again happens, and they say from the jump they don't know how the glacier failed like this and how the ice melted so fast, that's pretty jarring to hear. So obviously they're still investigating. Nothing's been concrete yet, so we'll just keep you posted as we learn more about this. In the meantime, it is time to get to your top stories with the Lana Rundown.
It's the Lana Rundown.
Okay, the U.S. has Iran right where they want them, or so they say, and so it kind of seems right now. Not gonna lie, word on the street is that Iran has admitted that the U.S. blockade is causing a gas crisis in Iran. They are allegedly, reportedly running out of it. Very ironic that a country that is that rich in oil is now dealing with mile-long gas lines, gas stations that are closed, people being told they can only put 5 gallons in their car, but that's what's happening right now. So imagine you're in Iran right now. What do you think people are doing hearing all that, class? Same thing we'd be doing. They're panic buying. Everybody's reportedly making a run on the stations and making the whole situation worse. And this is terrible news for the Iranian government, because a gas crisis is what sparked a massive, deadly protest back in 2019. Really had that regime sweating at that point. So here we are with another gas problem that people aren't always that sympathetic towards the government when things like this happen. So the other word on the street is that Iran just brought back this notorious former spy chief from wherever he's been hiding to start keeping an eye on the people. Again, he's a former spy chief. He's going to step back in to run the Basij. And the Basij is this force that the government uses basically to watch the neighborhoods and crush protests. They want him to beef up the informants who are basically going to be their eyes and ears in workplaces and universities and neighborhoods and the mosques. Eyes and ears everywhere. And this guy has honestly probably been itching for a comeback. He really left in shame and humiliation back in 2022 after Israel was just repeatedly penetrating Iran's security. Israel was assassinating high-level officials left and right. Israel sabotaged military sites that were supposed to be a secret. His own team got caught on the mission to go retaliate against Israel. Very embarrassing stuff. Now he's back, and it could mean that the regime is preparing to contain public anger, suppress demonstrations, because there's already an element of people inside of Iran chomping at the bit to get this regime out of there. And if they lose their own supporters in Iran, this regime has a problem. That is exactly where the U.S. wants them. But at the same time, they're still playing tough in the news. Iran just announced that they finally finished the temporary plan for the shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. That plan we've been telling you about for some time now, where ships will go into the strait, past Iran, out of the strait, past Oman. But Iran says that this still does not mean that the Strait of Hormuz is going to be freely open. They say that they are only going to open the Strait of Hormuz once America complies with their conditions of ending the naval blockade against them, unfreezing their money, stopping new sanctions, ending the military threats, completely ending the war, and not adding more U.S. troops to this region. Now, America doesn't seem too fazed by any of that. In fact, the U.S. has a completely different story on how this war is going. First of all, the U.S. keeps saying the strait is open. And at this point, the U.S. is actually trying to figure out a legal way to steal Iran's oil. Not even kidding. They're thinking they can do it by simply deeming the oil a prize of war. And they really flip back into the history book for this one. America used to do this a lot during the American Revolution and during the War of 1812 and during the Civil War. They're basically thinking that they might be able to just capture a tanker that's accused of supporting Iran or accused of breaking the U.S. blockade, bring that ship to an American port, and ask a judge to declare it a prize of war. If the judge approves, the oil and the ship would become U.S. government property. Because let Trump tell it, Iran is on its last legs and controls absolutely nothing right now. Here's what he said today.
Iraners right now, they're not paying their troops. They're in deep trouble. They have very little capacity. Last night we took 24 boats through the strait. We're taking them through all the time. I say it very openly. It doesn't mean we're finished with the
So that's the situation. We'll see what happens next, per usual. Meanwhile, another juicy story that happened this week. The CIA director, our CIA director, secretly flew to Russia, and we finally know why. So I saw this report earlier this week, and that was still at the point where nobody knew what was going on. I didn't want to waste your time because nobody knew what was going on. Well, the CIA director allegedly, reportedly went to Russia to ask them to please, pretty please, with a cherry on top, not to attack a NATO country. Again, this trip was not declared. Plane watchers actually just spotted this massive U.S. Air Force transport jet landing at an airport in Moscow and thought, that's weird. That's suspicious. So he wasn't just going rogue and doing this. That's the CIA director, John Ratcliffe. Wasn't just going rogue doing this. In fact, the reports say that the U.S. quietly told Ukraine to stop firing drones and missiles at Moscow in Russia and in other Russian cities in the north, probably so they didn't accidentally kill our guys. So the crazier part is, at first, both of our government and Russia's government downplayed all this. Trump said the meeting was just semi-routine, nothing to see here, just a couple of guys talking about the war. So I have no clue how all these details got out today. But today, all the massive media outlets were reporting what happened here. And they say that he was allegedly, reportedly there asking Putin's guys, Russia's spy services, because Putin reportedly wasn't there, was asking them if they would not try to test NATO with a small or deniable attack. Please do not test NATO with a small attack on a NATO country or a deniable attack on a NATO country. Think about how funny that is. I mean, it's not funny because none of this is funny, but it's just funny because apparently intelligence believes that Putin, Vladimir Putin, Russia's president, is growing more willing to poke and provoke a NATO country just to see if America and the NATO members actually respond together. The NATO agreement, as you guys know, is supposed to be an attack on one of us means an attack on all of us, and we're all going to come to each other's defense. But is that actually going to happen at this point? Trump has been pooing on NATO for a full year and a half, saying bump them. Matter of fact, the U.S. is taking Greenland, bump Denmark, bump these NATO countries. They don't pay enough money and they're not helping us with Iran, so screw them. Of course, Putin would be looking at all that with Birdman hands thinking, So I can show you a map of where the NATO countries are. Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland are reportedly where people think Russia could target because they're close to Russia, and Putin might be wondering if the U.S. would really risk a war with Russia for one of those countries. So today, the Kremlin, aka Russia's government, said, you guys need to relax. These are just scare stories. We're not planning to attack a NATO country. Trump said himself that he's talked to Putin directly, and Trump is convinced Russia's not going to do that. People just got a little bit concerned about it after a Russian missile crossed into Poland. A drone with an explosive was found at an airport in Germany. Russia's drones keep entering into NATO airspace, and the last time a CIA director went to Russia, it was to warn Russia not to attack Ukraine. Russia basically said, yeah, all right, and they invaded 3 months later. Matter of fact, for months back then, Russia said, we're not invading Ukraine. You people are just creating panic and fear for absolutely nothing. And lo and behold, here we are, 4 years later, Ukraine's running out of defense missiles, and the CIA director is back in Russia asking them not to go any further. Now, the CIA also reportedly asked Russia not to support Iran anymore, aka join our economic D-Day, cut Iran off economically and militarily, they're saying. Iran is just one of their biggest partners for weapons and drones. And Russia was accused of giving them intelligence already that helped Iran hit U.S. assets out there. So we'll see how all that lands. Again, you know, the U.S. government and Russia's government saying, oh, nothing to see here. It's all fine. So we'll see. Anywho, also out there, across the pond, Israel's catching a lot of heat right now for taking over a United Nations building in Jerusalem. So we're talking about the UNRWA building. And UNRWA is the UN agency that is specifically created to help Palestinian refugees. They run schools and health clinics and job training programs and food assistance and, you know, all the like for Palestinian refugees. Well, Israel says that UNRWA has Hamas members for employees and they don't belong there. This particular building that you're looking at was a functioning school. They really routinely, every day, functioned as a school, and reportedly had been there for more than 70 years. Well, Israeli forces just kicked everybody out, blocked the road outside, moved through the buildings, told those UN employees to leave and not come back. We've talked about Ben-Gvir, Israel's national security minister. He was there, of course, as part of this operation. He was pumped. He dropped this video of himself sitting at the desk inside the director's office in that facility saying UNRWA is out, saying UNRWA has no right to exist for even one more second in Jerusalem or in Israel, celebrated the fact that they raised the Israeli flag in this building, like over this building, and said that they were just throwing out an organization connected to terrorism. Now, a UN investigation did reportedly allegedly find evidence that 9 employees may actually have been involved in the October 7th attack on Israel, and those people were fired. But Israel says, no, just overall, UNRWA is a cover for Hamas. UNRWA says, no, we're not. And Jordan gave us this site back in 1952. It's a protected UN site, and you can't just take it. Israel basically said, no, it's not. Not subscribing to any of that. You don't own this land. And Israel says they actually only plan to permanently dismantle the UNRWA operation at that site and replace it with services for the same local Palestinian community. That's what they say. Regardless, the United Nations is pissed. The United Nations says Israel violated international rule with this raid and demanded that the Israeli forces immediately withdraw. 12 countries today issued a joint statement calling this whole thing unlawful. Belgium, Brazil, Canada, Denmark, Germany, Ireland, Italy, Japan, Norway, Spain, Switzerland, and the United Kingdom all said this is not legal. Now, Israel hasn't responded to that, but I'm going to tell you right now, who's going to make them leave? Israel's been going hard, dropping strikes on Gaza, even after Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, asked them to dial it back on Gaza. In fact, I saw this report. Look at this report, the kite warning. Kids can't so much as fly a kite in Gaza right now. Israel said, yeah, there might be an explosive on that kite, so we are liable to strike if you guys are flying kites out here. Not even kidding. That was big news this week. So I can show you a map so you can see where everybody is. And Israel's very extended right now. They've been going hard again in the Gaza Strip against the Palestinians, the Hamas terrorists there. And they've been going hard against Hezbollah in Lebanon to their north. The U.S. is hoping for a ceasefire. It's not happening. They've been going hard. They've been putting more settlements and outposts in the West Bank. Israel is clearly in there, we're going to do whatever we want season and nobody can stop us, which they say is only to protect their land and their citizens from the terrorists who they claim basically surround them on all sides. They say there's terrorists in Syria, terrorists in Lebanon, terrorists in Gaza, terrorists in the West Bank. Well, I don't think there's terrorists in the West Bank. They're just kind of occupying and moving Israeli settlements into the West Bank. Point is, they say they're doing what's best for their people. And again, who's going to stop them? Because it doesn't look like anybody. Anywho, back here at home, on our side of the world, the trade war with Canada is proof these people are nuts. You know the game of chicken? Basically a game where you basically see who is willing to back down first. That's literally what's happening here. So I don't know where this leads. I don't know where these people think that they're going to take this. But this situation is literally 2 leaders willing to play chicken all the way over a cliff to spite the other. At this point, these guys are just waiting to see who hits the ground first. If we keep on this same trajectory. Trump said, as we told you earlier this week, Canada has been taking advantage of the U.S. He says the U.S. lets Canadian businessmen bring a ton of their products here, which makes them a lot of shmoney, but Canada is basically a little stingy with how much American business they allow over there. So Trump said, we're not going to take that anymore. If Canada doesn't make some changes and let more American business in there fast, we're going to make a long list of Canadian products more expensive to bring to America with a 50% tariff. So you guys know we mean business. So as we've all learned, governments don't pay those tariffs. That means an American company will have to pay for that product and then pay the American government 50% of that product on top. So they buy a $100 product from Canada, they owe the government $50 on top of that. And usually that means the company just raises the prices. So you pay the extra amount. The negotiations failed. Canada did not do what the U.S. wanted, and that's exactly what happened. A couple days ago, Trump put a 50% tariff on dozens of products that we get from Canada, which means a lot of items could get more expensive for us. And I think that the hope was that Canada would say, okay, you guys are crazy. Whatever, we'll let your businessmen sell more here. That's not what happened. Instead, Canada's leaders said, bump y'all too, and announced their own tariffs at 15%, 25%, or 50% on 700 U.S. products. So fork it up, folks. If this all ends up going the way they have it right now, Americans could end up paying more for beer, wine, liquor, cider, natural honey, sugar, syrup, molasses, candles, flowers, bulbs, seeds, gardening supplies, essential oils, holiday decorations, ice skates, hockey equipment, swimming pools, dog leashes, saddles, other animal equipment. And then Trump said that Canada's cars, trucks, and auto parts would also get a 50% tariff starting at the beginning of next year. So that would be next year. And then that's going to hurt all of us, obviously, as a way to hurt Canadian businessmen. But then for the Canadian citizens, they're also going to get hurt. So for them, it'd be refrigerators, dishwashers, washers and dryers, stoves and ovens, air conditioners, hair dryers, smartphones, video game consoles, makeup, perfume, hair products, carpet, plywood, all types of stuff that will get more expensive for them. And for both of us, because we both trade similar things with each other, we're both potentially going to have to pay more for dairy, clothing items, furniture, metals, cars, and parts. So it's honestly just very stupid. And the stupidest part about all this is the US and Canada spent decades building a shared manufacturing system. We're going to share the manufacturing system. So for cars, one part could cross the border several times while a car is being built because we're sharing the manufacturing system. And this would mean it could get tariffed multiple times as it moves through the border. But all of this is just the appetizer for how we'd be screwed. For the entree, and this really only applies to a couple states of ours. For the entree, one Canadian official threatened electricity. Specifically, Ontario sells electricity to New York, Michigan, and Minnesota, and they've made it known that they could make it more expensive or stop selling it completely. So it probably wouldn't mean that Americans in those states would just be in the dark overnight, but there would probably be a scramble to find a replacement source, potentially stress the grid out, lead to higher power bills in these states, and or people just being told not to use as much power during the colder months when everybody's trying to get warm. Ugly, 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 and for what? So two countries can see who measures the longest, I guess. Again, after you send it off the cliff, it's a race to the bottom. So just be petty because he can and nobody can stop him. Trump also said this today.
Changing the name of Lake Ontario, effective immediately to Lake America. That's going to take place right now as I sign the order. Do you have anything to say about it, Ben?
Yes, sir. So this is a straightforward but important executive order. This is a lake that has most of its volume in the United States. The deepest parts of the lake sit in United States territory. So this will reflect that this is an American lake.
Look at that. Look at that. There it is. This is history.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And there you go. There you have it. So this is apparently effective immediately. He says he's already notified all the people you have to notify. This is effective immediately, but only here in the United States. Nobody else actually has to comply with this. So literally the rest of the world can still call it whatever they want to call it, which I think is very trippy. They did the same thing with the Gulf of Mexico. We call it the Gulf of America now. I don't know if everybody else made that change. Also worth noting, and this is just a little quick and dirty for you, Trump declared a national emergency over the U.S. electric grid late last night. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but it's actually not a response to this Ontario threat. So it's strange that all this is happening at the same time. But he's basically saying that foreign-made equipment inside of America's major power grid could potentially be hacked or sabotaged or accessed remotely by another foreign country. So they're trying to crack down on this because if electricity starts to become a real issue, things are going to get really weird here really quickly. So let us know what you guys think about all that because that is your rundown.
Trump is King Petty.
Boy,
Lake of America. Wow.
I didn't even. I heard that a
mean-
couple days ago, and I thought it was a joke.
I mean, I'm not mad at it, but like, that's so petty.
I don't care. You know,
Yeah,
a
I don't
lot of things
care
that are
about it,
happening,
yeah.
I don't care. Like, do whatever you want, but like, that's what you have to spend your time.
Right.
Aren't we at war?
Right.
Like, what are we talking about?
Also, I have a theory about the whole Ratcliffe in Russia thing.
Okay.
I think Russia has no intention to attack NATO, but I think he went there to convince them to do it.
To attack NATO.
On behalf of the military-industrial complex.
No.
Yeah.
Well, see, you know what's funny? I saw this report that Britain was preparing for war.
Right.
I want to say it was Britain preparing for war, but they're saying they're just posturing and getting things prepared just in case
Right.
whatever ever happened. And I was thinking like, why would they be doing that? That's weird. So the fact that that's coming on the heels of the CIA going and talking about this allegedly, potentially, I mean, I don't know what these people are doing.
And nothing crazy, like one loose missile, and boom.
We've already established that there's not enough Patriot missiles, which is what all these countries are using to defend themselves against these missiles. So why would we want to start another conflict when nobody seems to be out of missiles?
It wouldn't be a conflict. Russia would attack one time and all of the NATO countries will sign up to buy more military equipment.
You think it's just a run on?
Oh, yeah. They're going to spend
Oh my God. Because
like
all
$1 trillion.
Trump's kids are all like involved and
Yeah,
invested with these
right.
defense. Boy.
They own half of
I
the
hate it
drone
here.
companies.
I hate it here.
Yeah, they work for all of the military contractors.
We got to go to break. We will be right back after this. Welcome back to Hot 97 News, everybody. Oh, Jesus, I'm so excited about this story. You guys have got to come see this because you can't make this up. Tell me why this mother smashed a school window trying to get to her kid on a bus. This was a school bus window. And one of them is seen crawling inside trying to get to the kids. So obviously everybody saw this today and thought, what the heck is going on? How did this possibly happen? So apparently this happened in California, of course. So there was a situation where one of the kids was rowdy, doing whatever the kid was doing. It hasn't been established on the bus. It was wrong enough to warrant calling in the authorities. So they say it was just a student behavior incident. Kid was disruptive on the bus. So the bus driver pulls over, locks the door, and waits for the police to get there. The school district said that is what they were supposed to do. That is a safety protocol. Great, whatever. But then the students say they sat inside the bus that was stopped for like an hour. And then the kids are starting to get restless. They're starting to freak out. Everybody was kind of scared. They don't know what's going on.
Where did this happen?
This is in California.
Oh, I bet the school bus was hot too.
It was probably hot,
Yeah.
and school buses kind of stink too.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be on a school bus either,
Sticky
kids.
leather
I know.
seats.
I'm like sweating, sticking to it. Yeah. So then one student climbed out the side window, and the driver said, all right, everybody close the windows, sit down, stay in your seats. But then more kids start climbing out of the window, allegedly, reportedly. So at some point, parents start showing up because the kids are calling their parents. And one woman says, clearly, I'm going on to the bus and getting my child. Or I'm just going to go and cuss you out. Whatever's happening here. I'm getting on the bus and I'm cussing you out. I don't know if she actually cussed him out.
That
But it just
mom-
looks like she's.
But she was pretty fit. You know, it's not easy to jump up to a window on a school bus and
That's
climb
so
in that
true.
way. Just think about it. Like, I
That's
don't think
so
I could
true.
do that. She's.
They didn't say if she's the one who broke the window, but she's clearly just the one who said that bus driver is about to F around and find out.
Ugh.
So they are hoping that the parent who smashed the window gets charged with vandalism. But at the same time, if parents have shown up, I don't know. Because then as the bus driver, what if some rando adult shows up and says, oh, that's my child?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. That's sticky situation. But at the same time, I'm not sitting on a bus for an hour. That's crazy situation. So with that said, it is time to get to America's hottest headlines. These are the hottest stories everybody's talking about in cities across the country today, August 27th. I hate to start off with a story that is this sad and this awful and this depressing, but there's been another black man found hanging in North Carolina.
How many does that make it now?
This is like the fourth one in North Carolina
That's
in the past
crazy.
couple of months. I did look this up. So this particular incident happened a couple days ago, shortly after 6:45 a.m. This is a 38-year-old named Demetrius Fleming, and he was found dead hanging at a home in Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina. So police say they got there with emergency crews after someone actually called 911 and reported an attempted suicide, but the person who called was not physically at the house. So that's strange.
But the police know who it was.
I don't know if the police know. They say that the caller was someone close to Fleming, but wouldn't disclose who that person was, what that person knew, or how they learned what was happening. So police might know, but at least publicly has been revealed. So police say that they have purposely not ruled the death a suicide yet, or a homicide, or an accident, which I think is smart because they always say, oh, it was a suicide.
Right.
Like 2 hours after it happens.
Yeah.
So they're saying that everything's on the table at this point. They're still investigating. They haven't said what, if it was a rope or, what material was used. They haven't really given a lot of information about this yet. But then people started thinking about it. First of all, this guy is a husband. He's a father of 9 children. The 911 was a little sketchy. And this seems to be a pattern. I hate this story.
Yeah.
I really hate this story. There's a 32-year-old black man who was found in downtown Raleigh, like a week before that, August 15th. And so that situation was jarring. And then people said, wait a minute, there were 2 black Congolese people also found in separate incidents near Charlotte earlier this year. That's all in North Carolina. So there's no currently verified evidence of this being connected. It's just a heck of a thing to have happen in the same state within months of each other.
And none of this got caught on camera? None of the 4?
And this is a church-going guy.
Yeah, this picture said it was taken like a week before he passed in church.
The one Congolese girl was 16 years old, and that was ruled suicide. And then you had another Congolese man. That was a 36-year-old man. 6:58 in the morning.
That's fishy.
I don't know. Weird situation. But we're at least keeping track of it. Because at the very least, we can peep what's going on with people out here. Because I would hate for something sketchy to happen and then nobody care. At least I care. That's crazy. Moving on to stories that aren't quite so sad, though, and depressing. A judge says that a ban on drag shows is illegal in Texas. So Ken Paxton was trying to ban drag shows, and a judge says he can't do that. That is the news. Basically, they're saying if you don't want to see the drag show, just don't go. Which I do understand that, because it's simple. I don't know what rule or what law you would use to get this banned for real. Because if you could just ban that, you could start banning all types of things. So that is strange. But I guess, Ken Paxton says this is something that he was wanting to do. He's running, he's running for office.
As long as they're not breaking any rules. I don't get it. I don't get what the ban is for.
Well, and they didn't actually even say drag. They marketed it as a sexually oriented performance involving certain movements, clothing, prosthetics, or accessories in front of minors. So there's that.
Well, I get it if there's nudity in front of minors. That's
I do too, but why are you bringing your child where there's naked adults? That's what I mean? Like, don't go.
Yeah.
Maybe for public spaces that might make sense, where you like literally can't get your kids away from it. But it says on public property, so that's very broad, very vague. That's kind of how that thing did not go. Ken Paxton says he's going to try again.
I mean, I feel like this is just one of those things people are talking about just to divide us even more. You know what I mean? Like, it's not it's a nothing burger.
Yeah.
It's like a very such small use case law.
Just like the trans in sports. Like, there's so few trans kids in school sports. There's probably like 10, and it's become such a huge issue.
They're just trying to get people mad.
Yeah. So that's going down in Texas. Meanwhile, in California, which always seems to have some kind of crazy, insane car-related story, there's a man who hung onto his car to keep a carjacker from stealing his dogs.
They're so cute. I would have done it too.
Oh, I'm not hanging on to my car. I'm probably not going to hang on to the car. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, those are your babies.
That's true. So this man is from Los Angeles. He says he clung to the side of his car while it was moving. It was an SUV after this woman stole it with his dogs inside. So he said he just stopped for a quick second at a McDonald's and left the car running with the air conditioner on for the dogs.
Right.
Didn't want a hot car death story. So he says he was only inside for a couple of minutes, turned around and saw a woman, said she looked about 20 years old, just driving away.
That's why McDonald's is bad for you people. Don't do it. Don't stop at the McDonald's.
So he says he saw it happen fast enough to grab the driver's side of the SUV and refuse to let go. So he says the woman backed up, turned the car, drove into the middle of the street at a high speed with him hanging from the side of it. Other drivers were on both sides just watching as he was dragged along. And he says eventually he had to just let go of the car while she sped away.
I wish there was video of that.
I know. I can't believe, of all things, that there's not video of.
Yeah.
There's no video of this.
Where you at, Flock? Come on.
Come on, Flock. The one time we want a Flock camera shot of something, you're not there. Project Gang, thank you so much. So he says he immediately called 911. He activated the SUV's tracker. He could literally watch the thing moving through an app. So he stayed nearby in case she just abandoned the vehicle somewhere or released the dogs. He then offered a $50,000 cash reward for both dogs, no questions asked.
Damn, he's got it like that.
Got it like that. But eventually LAPD just found woman and arrested her using the tracker information. There you go. And the dogs were recovered successfully.
Nice.
How about that? How about this story? The Rutgers dean is in a lot of trouble.
Ooh.
Police just arrested him for filming upskirt videos.
What a dirty man.
So this man is the dean of research at Rutgers' School of Environmental and Biological Sciences.
Oh, maybe he was just doing research.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's probably what he said.
Yeah, dirty.
Oh, officers. So The alleged recording happened in Brunswick, where the main campus is, and they haven't said if it happened on that campus or, it said who the woman allegedly is, but he has still been charged with fourth-degree invasion of privacy, and if he's convicted, he could face up to 18 months in prison and a $10,000 fine.
Man, who's doing upskirt filming in this day and age? Like, everyone knows phones have cameras. I don't know.
And there's so much you can make AI do a lot. You can find a lot of strange on the internet. At what point?
I feel like this is activities for like a 70-year-old man who doesn't know how to use technology.
Or like a minor who's just like an idiot. You know what I mean? Like not a college dean.
Yeah, not a college dean for sure.
Anyway, look at your screen. Do these berries look familiar to you? Because Driscoll's is under fire right now for basically allegedly saying that their berries are good and healthy and good for the planet when they are allegedly not. In fact, this one company, actually there's like 3 different organizations that are suing them right now, basically saying that they use pesticides on these berries that are found to have cancer-causing materials in them.
Oh man, I eat a lot of strawberries and blueberries.
You know what's crazy? I feel like these Driscoll's, the strawberries specifically, were like $1 a couple months ago, and I grabbed like 5. But then they expired the next day.
Oh yeah, you gotta eat them quick.
So I was kind of pissed about it, but it was so cheap I was pumped, and now it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, now we're full of chemicals.
Bumpy, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah, so the biggest accusation they're facing is false advertising, because they say, oh, our farming is environmentally friendly. And these groups are saying, actually, no, they used a ton of plastic. And again, those potentially cancer-causing pesticides. The lawsuit says at least 12 cancer-linked pesticides are used in their growing operations, and one is actually banned in dozens of countries.
Can we sue them or what?
I know. Why are they just trying to kill us? It's very strange. And the groups also point out that childhood cancer rates in the farming community are 36% above California's average in that area. They have not proven that Driscoll's farming caused those cancers, but they just say some of these farms are close to schools, and these schools are being seen to have air quality, or the air monitor at the school detecting the pesticide that is above California's official cancer warning threshold.
I bet.
So, not causation, but it's a little suspicious. Mm-hmm. And they say there's plastic in the blueberries. Speaking of plastic, you guys are not going to believe this. These scientists are making cookies with plastic bottles. They hate you, America.
Who thought this was a good idea?
They hate you. They hate us. Scientists are turning plastic bottles into cookies. I don't think anybody's eaten these yet, but they're at least trying it. So they unveiled these, saying that they are rich in protein. And it's the Southern Illinois University Carbondale team who created this. They're calling them microbites. And they're not literally grinding plastic into flour and feeding it to people. Basically what they say they're doing is using intense heat and pressure and water and oxygen to completely break down plastic bottles into the smallest building blocks. And then those building blocks are then fed into specially trained yeast. And that yeast consumes it and then produces entirely new food ingredients, including protein, fat, and vitamins.
And microplastics.
So they say that they mix those ingredients in with starch and fiber and sweetener, and then use a 3D printer to shape the mixture into small cookies, and boom, bada bing, you got a little plastic cookie.
So who are these cookies for?
So they don't know yet. They actually say that they could use them in space missions. NASA actually helped fund this project for long space missions specifically. They say instead of packing years of meals, maybe future astronauts could just turn some of their plastic trash and leftover plant material into fresh food. So just don't throw your trash away. We're gonna make some food out of it.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's all gonna go into your body, so just hold on to it.
So, I mean, I don't know. They say it costs about $27 to produce 1 pound of this food, and they're hoping to lower that price and make it potentially ready to eat within the next couple years.
Worst idea ever.
They'll hate us.
No.
They're doing the same thing with vanilla.
What do you mean?
I don't know who it is, but I saw that they were trying to figure out how to turn plastic into something that tastes like vanilla. Oh. That means it'll be sweet. Boy, these guys are funny. Anyway, dipping out of here. Let's talk about the comedian Drewski. Drewski just dropped a really timely new skit. Actually, I don't even know if this was planned or not, but it's a long clip. We're just going to watch about a minute of this together, and it's about athletes, football players specifically, and the ones who kind of just end up with CTE and end up a little nutty. This is the video. I promise there's a point.
10. From going, well, maybe this guy can do it, to know he can do it. 19 in this. Oh, my goodness. Helmet's out, ball's out, and a penalty flag comes flying in. Helmet-to-helmet hits are just part of tackling. Just watch the way he goes to the ground. He doesn't move.
No, it really is sad. If
That does it, folks. Not
When
sure
you
if
think
Ray
about-
Price
that's
will
like a
remember this.
guy.
Concussions like that tend to stay with you far into the postseason.
This nigga try to angle me in. Hey, take some of that horse speed. Yes, sir.
Breaking
thought he
news,
had
this
Atlanta
just
police
in.
actually
A gold Ferrari
in this video.
is
I think
heading
it was-
southbound
yeah.
on I-85.
When I first thought, I
Former
was like,
running
"You're
back
right,
Ray
ADD."
Price shows no signs of stopping anytime
Yeah,
soon
the
as
speed
he
that he
leads
put this
police
video
on a
out
chase
is
of over
it's
10
most definitely,
miles.
CTE what? They try to say I'm crazy, boy. How the boy go give it?
Okay, so we can we can dip out there. Point is, again, I don't know if this is timely, if he meant it or not, but there was just a new study released that found a lot more football players than you think are getting CTE. So they say that the estimates are at least 24.5%, which is roughly 1 in 4 of them, of former NFL players who died between 2016 and 2021 who had CTE. And they say that that's the lowest plausible estimate, that 24.5%. They say the statistical range of how many of them died of CTE in that time is probably somewhere between 24.5% and 97.7%.
You know, that's one of the main reasons I stopped watching football.
Really?
Yeah, remember when that movie Concussion came out with Will Smith?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was about the whole CTE thing. That's when, like, if they first shed light on it, and I was like, wow. I'm like, is this true? And then
I know.
a lot of stuff started coming out about it, and I'm like, oh, this is really barbaric that we're
I
watching
know.
this happen
So
live.
CTE is a progressive brain disease that is associated with repeatedly getting hit in the head. So they say that it's because of literally the cumulative, repetitive head impact. So not just like you got hit once, like these guys are getting hit every Sunday, you know, multiple times during practice, all this stuff. And that's what causes CTE. And they say that it can really only be definitively diagnosed after you die when they examine your brain tissue. So it's not always something you can catch or you know it's really happening. And, you know, they just say that 878 former NFL players died during that 6-year period. And they looked and found, yeah, that a lot of them who donated their brains for examination did have CTE. Of those donated brains, they say 91.4% were diagnosed with CTE. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, it's crazy.
So I know that's what I don't know this because it makes me sad.
Yeah.
But-
yeah, it really does. Like,
I know. But if you watch the video, I know. Like I don't personally know, but we all know like football players who post like this, do erratic things, always in the news for something crazy
Right.
over the years. Not currently, but just.
and then like they have like mental episodes later on after they retire or
Yes.
extreme depression.
Yes.
A lot of them, you know, they go through depression or, you know, substance abuse, and it's just really sad.
I know.
Yeah.
Let's take Drewski because now it's sad. You know, it's supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
I like Drewski. You know, this was not commentary on him. I'm just like, man, what are the odds?
Yeah.
Anywho, let's talk about these robots. So, first of all, China, again, is just crushing the robot game. Not propaganda. I'm just saying the U.S. probably needs to step it up.
Sounds like propaganda.
I'm just saying the U.S. needs to step it up. So, first of all, there's a Chinese startup that says they have a product that can kill mosquitoes. And we've actually been trying to tell you guys about this for a very long time. It keeps getting cut from the show. But this is called Mosquito Air Defense, and it uses AI and a laser. And I think this is especially timely because mosquitoes have been disrespectful this year. I don't know if you guys have a big mosquito population outside your house, but in Georgia, boy, these guys are disrespectful. So they say that this is a laser mosquito killing device. It has entered mass production at this point. The first batch was expected to ship in late August, so around now. And they say it's a tiny automated air defense system, that basically scans the space in front of it, detects a flying insect, confirms that this object is small enough to target, and fires a short laser pulse intended to damage its wings and knock it out of the air.
If this works, if it's real, I am buying like 10 for my yard.
It's been bad this year.
Yeah.
I don't know what they released.
No, it was bad because it was so dry for so long in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
That all of them, like we hit like a wave of mosquitoes, like one summer it really hit.
When it started getting a little wetter,
Yeah.
and they started compiling. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So there's that. I think that's cool. How about this one? This other Chinese startup, which I think it's strange that it's always a Chinese startup, because how are all these Chinese startups just coming up with all this new and improved and things we've never seen before
They have all
type
the
of
money.
technology? It's kind of crazy. What do you mean a startup? Who are you people? I don't know. But this Chinese startup has a robot you can ride like a horse. Look at this, boy. Now that's crazy. Now that's crazy.
Imagine taking that to work.
Imagine like running, because I'm watching Yellowstone right now, and so everybody's on a horse and they're wrangling cows and they're wrangling cattle and whatnot. It's kind of cool. This is called the Cyber Horse, obviously, and the Chinese startup called Dax AI unveiled this. 660 pounds, and it can carry people on its back. And so they say, obviously, not just a prop. You get on this bad boy. They showed it working. No wheels. It's supposed to imitate a horse's legs, and they say it can carry another 660 pounds. So you could, put 2 adults on this thing and go to town.
It's crazy.
Crazy. They say, how fast do you think this thing goes?
I don't know. It doesn't look that fast. Probably like 20 miles per hour.
You can go about 4 to 6 miles an hour.
Oh, you're not going anywhere.
They say it's about as quick as a quick human jog, but it can travel about 25 miles on one charge. It'll take you some time to get there, but it'll get you there. So they say that it can cross mud, gravel, ditches, steep slopes, and other grounds where other wheeled cars might get stuck.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you did have cattle,
Yeah, I mean, if you lived in the mountains, you probably need this.
or if you needed to save or rescue somebody, a hiker who'd fallen,
I mean, you're going to save them at 4 miles per hour.
we'll get there eventually. It'll take some time. Yeah, man. So here in America, I said, all right, what do we have going on robot-wise in America? And I don't know if you guys saw this early this week. This lady dropped this video of a robot maid. Oh, yes. She dropped this maid to clean her home in San Francisco. And we actually talked about this. It was like $30 an hour.
But I think she hired this robot just to film it. Look how slow it's going.
This would actually piss me off.
Yeah, I
Give
would
me
be
that-
so annoyed.
Give me that cleaning bottle. This would make me want to clean. Girl, get out of my house.
Look at the cat.
And that's what I was talking about before. Is this clean, or did you just clean the toilet
No,
with that? Because you
yeah.
have no clue.
Well, I'm sure there's programming to like, hey, after you wipe this area with this, don't touch
guess.
other surfaces. That's nasty.
I get, but then you have to run around and give it new towels? Does it come with its own towels?
It better have some spare
Then
towels.
I may as well clean it. Just watching it walk is like,
So annoying.
I'm just annoyed.
Why are these American robots so bad?
But at least look, we had one. Even in the Chinese robot games, China had most of the robots there. I think the U.S. had, I don't even know how many we had there, but it was less than. There were hundreds of Chinese robots, and then the other countries combined had a couple dozen, and none of them really did that well. So anyways.
Did the Tesla robot go?
The Tesla robot. Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
I didn't see, because there were no videos of it. I didn't
Probably
see. So this is exactly why they don't let Chinese cars come over here, because China.
So just take over.
And just take over.
Or cell phones.
Or their cell phones?
Yeah, Huawei.
They have good cell phones in China?
Oh yeah.
Better than ours?
Oh yeah. YouTube
What kind
it
of
later.
cell phones?
Like, I don't know, just smartphones.
What do they do?
With like better cameras, better apps,
Okay, I thought you were going to, they got what are those things called where they pop up the
heads-up display.
No, they made Michael Jackson one. It was like
the hologram.
Holograph.
Yeah.
Now that'd be crazy. Anyway, Serena Williams is on a comeback, guys. And this is just such a wholesome story. I freaking love this. She came back to the U.S. Open for the first time since her emotional 2022 farewell. They always say I'm retiring and then come back. She's basically pulling Tom Brady here. But
I mean, she's way past her prime. She's not winning any tournaments anymore.
I think people just want to see her play.
Yeah,
In fact,
that's great.
Venus and Serena are going to get to play again together.
That's awesome.
Now, how about that? September 3rd or September 4th, they're going to play their first U.S. Open doubles match. Their opponents have not been announced just yet, but they won 14 Grand Slam doubles titles together. So,
Nice.
you know that everybody's cannot wait to see that. Everybody's going to want to see what
I remember when they
sisters can
first
do.
started playing. Venus started playing first, and she won a championship, and then Serena came up, and I was like, oh, there's no way Serena's going to be
I
as
know.
good as Venus. And then she became like this beast. I was like, whoa.
And as Venus, you're probably sitting there like, hey. Anyways, so before we go, we have got to tell you guys that there's a blood moon tonight.
Ooh.
A blood moon peaks tonight. If you're on the East Coast, you got to stay up late. 12:12 a.m.
Okay.
12:12 a.m. Eastern is when it peaks. 11:12 Central, 9:12, of course, Pacific time. But this is going to be when Earth's shadow is going to cover 96.2% of the full moon tonight, and it's going to create a deep partial lunar eclipse visible across the United States.
Ooh, I hope it's not cloudy here.
Oh, unless it's cloudy.
It's been cloudy today. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll suck. But yeah, man, I mean, that's a cool way to go into Friday. And the color is basically allegedly reportedly created by sunlight passing through Earth's atmosphere. Y'all don't care. The whole point is you can see this tonight. And it's going to end around 1:52 a.m. And the final faint shadow clears shortly after 3 a.m. Don't need any kind of special glasses to see this. So it's really cool. And city lights will not completely ruin this. Usually you can't see some things because, it's too bright.
But
not
the
going to
moon is
ruin it.
big enough.
So go outside. 12:12 is when it peaks, guys. Thank you so much for watching. That does it for us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Get ready, the legend is on your screen. Funk Flex, the man who defines hip hop, is bringing the heat from the radio booth to your TV.
Where's my camera at? That's my camera? All right.
The biggest beats, the hottest freestyles, and that classic Flex energy.
Bars are back.
Now in your living room. Don't just hear it, watch the movement. Funk Flex, now on Hot 97 TV, Mondays and Fridays at 7:30 p.m.
The voice and attitude you love, now on your screen.
I love this.
Nessa brings her unfiltered energy, real talk, and celebrity interviews from the radio to your TV. It's the same Nessa you know. Bold, funny, and always keeping it real. Catch Nessa, now on TV.
Damn, that was deep right now.
Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m. only on Hot 97 TV.